What is this channel considered? Is my question in my mind. I mean, where else do I have questions at? I was thinking, in my head, I was thinking, where else do you think at? From the beginning of starting this channel, there was no real, I don't know, objective, or there was no, hey everybody, this is Robin's Hood from or there's no intro, there's no departure. There was no departure because when I realized that I had more to talk about than just 5 minutes worth, and the recording kept going, at one point within the first 9 months, the recording went all the way to 33 minutes and then stopped. 33:03 sometimes, 33:09 or 33:11 if I'm lucky. And that's about as far as it would go. So I was accused of being a Mason because of that reason. But the ones accusing me of being a Mason were Masons themselves, and they knew that I wasn't part of the organization, so they were just liars from the beginning because their father is the devil. And Stephen James DeShawn, well, he helped influence the multitudes to come after me because I believe what he was telling people, or no, it's what he was telling people, but I believe what they were believing was that I am a CIA agent, but you don't know. It's like I was a secret, hidden CIA agent, which would be the Antichrist. I was hidden the entire time, and then all of a sudden here I am, and then I'm basically like I'm ratting out the system because of the things that I was learning and picking up on your language. There was only one way of discrediting me, and that was to say that basically I'm cheating. So that's really what Stephen James was trying to get people to believe, that I was a cheater. The truth is, I'm not a cheater, and I just picked up on the serpent's language. And whether you guys wanted to teach me in the beginning or not, it's irrelevant, because I was taught by your language, and I picked it up and I started to talk back to you in your own language. And then of course Jonathan Kleck, once I finally came across him, he it's like at times I felt loved, at times I felt hated. When the one Jonathan Kleck would show my head chopped off to the side, a similarity of someone that looks just like me, and speaking with just that irritating threat sound that I can't stand from Jezebel. That irritating threat type of a "you're gonna get it, Robin" thing. Couldn't stand it. Then another video would come up from Jonathan Kleck, and it's a complete opposite, like a loving, kinding. I'm like, what's going on with this dude, man? Is it what's happening with this man? And I didn't even realize that there were women behind the mask with faces of men and hair like women and scorpion tails. I had no idea. But Jonathan Kleck's the one that, he did say back in October 21st, 2020, I'm just giving you a little teaser right now, I'm just getting started. And the water stood still at 8:48 a.m. So coming up, it's a 3rd year anniversary for that, but it's the 4th year anniversary for me pointing at my Home Depot hat, and that same night, Tornado Kleck destroyed the Home Depot. During the Eagles-Dallas game that I said that the Eagles would get destroyed by the Cowboys. And a high terror watch is going to happen during that game. I said at the game, but hit or miss, hot or cold. I was close. I said a stadium. The destruction at the Home Depot in Dallas, Texas, did look like a stadium. So that was true. It was a stadium type destroyed, and it was Tornado Kleck, and he did it. And that's why I got the shout out, Shiloh at Robin Lean. That same night, that same day on the news, October 21st, the news itself gave me a shout out. And then the very next year, exactly 365 days later, the Wooders stays still at 8:48 a.m. in 17th JFK, where the bombing is, the back of the, or whatever you want to call it, destruction. $50 bill, when you fold it, it has the identical Penn Center Building 8. The Wooders stood still. Barack Obama showed up. A bomb didn't go off, but Obama showed up, and he gave me a shout out. Robin Hood, tease what our last name is, Mr. Philadelphia. I want to thank. You see him operating every single day. You see him in the neighborhoods. And by the way, while he's doing all that, it distracts all of us from our truly destructive behavior that his appointees are doing all across America. Actions that affect your world, or life, or whatever. So 3 times within the 8-year period, 8 full years, something very significant happened. October 21st, 2011, the end of the world, Harold Camping, basically the end of his career. And then 2019, exactly 8 years later, the Home Depot was destroyed. I was on to Jonathan Kleck. I had only been following him for 4 months, and I already picked up on what he was doing. The language. Because I was already being schooled by Stephen James how to pick up on the language by listening to someone who's the biggest liar on the planet Earth that I've ever met, lying directly about me after I talked to him and met him face to face. Plenty of times on FaceTime, and then phone conversations and text messages. So he got the ball rolling, teaching me the language of the Chaldeans, I think that is, being in captivity here. So once I met Jonathan Kleck, once I started coming after in his direction, he couldn't ignore it. So that's why 4 months later, he called me out. He said, "I'm sorry, Robin Hood," And then, "Oh, by the way, all you shills, you're in for deep, 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 deep trouble." And then he called me a nerd with loving kindness in the voice on leap year, February 29th, 2020. That leap year is coming up next year. It would be the 4th year anniversary for that. So apparently it really is a 7-year period for myself, at least. To April 2nd, 2024, which would be 7 years. And then Bono was singing "Shots Rang Out" on April 4th. In other words, what that song is talking about is they were trying to take someone's pride or something, and they couldn't do it, so they wind up just shooting him, and he died. So I wonder if that's me 2 days after my 7th year on YouTube, when I'm truly finished. And it's like, I actually get to get out of here. All I got to do is 7 years, get shot in the head, and I go home. All right, where do I meet you at? Because this is not it. This life is just the beginning, and it's the worst part of your eternity. The worst part is starting for the first time, being a firstborn. You know, a lot of yous are lucky. You died at birth. A lot of yous have gotten gas chambered as a twin and went up to heaven. But you didn't tell your twin brother that you were, you're the one that died and went to heaven. And you were taught everything from as soon as you can start to think and read and look, you were taught the Word of God. Because for a time like this, that's why you were born. So what is my channel really? I don't have a title for it. I don't have a introduction, and I don't have a departure. I have a purpose, but it's just, I can't pinpoint one thing to it because it's multiple things. It's all things in one. It's why do you think Derek Bros, when I was on his channel, he said, I do very interesting work. So needless to say, whatever I'm doing is interesting. It's interesting because these are things that I've never known, but yet now I do. I've never, well, I wouldn't say never, but recently, within the past 4 years, the last person that I really would talk to over the phone was Justin Michael. And then once I felt like I was forced to answer the phone and communicate with him, then I cut that off too. Because I did the same thing with Stephen James, his dad, Saul, because that's what it reminds me of, Saul and Jonathan from back then. But really, Steve is saying he's King David, which usually when you're saying you're somebody, it's like, hey everybody, I'm Jesus. You're most likely not, all right? I mean, you can represent him, but Christ is a spirit. That's an actual title. So many Christ are gonna appear and deceive many. Remember, I told you that before. Remember, what did Christ do? He told his disciples, many Christs are going to arise and deceive many. So he literally spoke those words somehow or another, whether he wrote them down and just like sent it in a letter, or he was sitting directly there with them face to face. But I don't think that's the case, because I think I heard something about after a 7-year period, you finally, but it was really like 3.5, or at the end of the ministry or something like that, he meets his disciples, the apostles. I don't know where I heard that, but I heard it yesterday. There's something what Paul Begley was saying about the book that's going to be released on April 2nd, 2024. Being released to me means released from prison. So I could be released from this prison, even if it's in a body bag. I'm still out of here. And I know for a fact that I'm going to heaven. An absolute guaranteed fact. I am not going, well, I might go to hell just to meet unlock the cages and stuff and meet the people that have tormented me for these past 7 years and free them. But I'm not going there to be tormented for an eternity. I'm just going to meet people. And then maybe it's 3 days later, I go up. This is just the beginning of my life. It starts out this way. It's the creation story in the beginning. It's before the foundations of the world. Before God's world actually begins. This is what it looks like. Yeah, God may be in complete control because the story's not over yet, but it doesn't seem like he is, does it? Because Well, my entire life, I've never been free. I've always had to get up and go to work since the time I went to school to become a carpenter. It pretty much worked every single day almost, it seems like. 25 years, 26, 27, 28 years straight. More than half my life. And it must be a great feeling for you guys that all you got to do is wake up, review my video as my highest trained reviewer, sitting on the beach in Maui, in your beautiful, luxurious, perfectly clean home, and right there on the beach. And that's all you got to do is just watch me and live the life. Well, in the end, you got to break down and share, because I made your life that much easier. But in the meantime, I got 49 minutes until I get to work, and I already been at it for 16, which means every single day I just drive an hour up and drive an hour back. Drive an hour up, waste 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, drive another hour back. Between 10, right off the bat, hours wasted, complete wasted. What could I do with 10 hours extra a day, opposed to going to work and just killing time and just, hopefully the money fairy just drops a bag of money on my lap and I don't have to work for a living because one of you that has control of all the money that was made on the YouTube platform finally breaks down and compensates me for the work that I've done for the past 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days before the bombs dropped on Israel. Think about that one for a minute. 6'9" on my forehead. I got the mark of the beast right on my forehead. It's the mark of the beast on my forehead. I didn't get some kind of holy place. I didn't go and rearrange my tree of life. I don't despise my birthright. My right to be able to impregnate a woman so she can give birth to my children that are hanging out with me. I didn't sell that. I didn't turn that inside out, upside down. I didn't go inside the holy place. I'm not filled with the Holy Spirit in that way. My tree of life isn't standing in the holy place as the abomination of desolation is. My stomach's not my God. I can't have babies, nor would I want to. I wouldn't want to be a man and then become a woman and then parthenode myself to have a baby and say, oh my God. That's what you guys did. And Jonathan Kleck is the one that ratted yous out. Whether it was his intention or not, it's just the fact that he did, and I picked up on the language is what matters. So I'm talking to all of you who have buku dollars because of your YouTube channels that you were selling birds and doves. This is where the money exchangers, the tables turn, and Paul is in charge of the currency on the YouTube platform. The Apostle Paul. Peter's the one that has the keys to the kingdom of heaven. And Paul is the one in charge, in my opinion, of all of the money that was made on the YouTube platform, because he hired all of yous. Because he is the Antichrist. And he hired all Pauls. That's why it's been so confusing. He hired all Pauls. Or, Paul is at least 12 people on the YouTube platform. 12 different main YouTube channels. Or he could be 144 of them. Just to make it an even 144. Because let's face it, with him being the Antichrist, coming, attacking Christ, and then after, wasn't it after the resurrection? During the 3 days of blindness, wasn't that the same time that Christ was in the heart of the earth? Wasn't that the same time that Jonah was in the belly of the great big fish? Because he was blinded for 3 days, and then because Christ came to him and said, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? I'm sick of it. And then after the 3 days became the resurrection. So after 3 years, 3 nights, it's usually, to me, it means 4 years. Because it's a complete fullness of 3 days and 3 nights. So a day is a year is a day is as 1,000 years. Just don't be ignorant of that one thing that Peter was always talking about with the number 1. I don't always believe that anybody even really has to go anywhere when they put their lights on. It's just to come at me. This is urgent, Rabbi Manis Friedman says. Is it? Are they really going somewhere? Rabbi? What's my problem with the people on YouTube? Well, my problem is that the people are lying. My problem is you act like you just have a regular job and you're doing a regular thing, but you're really CIA, living large, and Pharisaic, and there's widows that need help, and your own mother or father needs to be put in a nursing home, or at least needs to be taken care of, but you claim all of your money is for the Lord. You heap up treasures of gold for yourself, and you're just flat out greedy, selfish, and it's sickening. And I don't care if you get offended, Pharisees and Sadducees. Don't care. Why would I care? I've been attacked. I get attacked everywhere I go. There's a non-stop action attack. I seen it yesterday with the trimmers, the foreigners. I just, I walk out, and the one guy calls to the other guy, and it's like, and he hops up real quick, because you know how like you walk by the garages, you don't see what's going on until you walk by it, and the evil, gang stalking, pointless, demonic attack is where it's something as simple as just getting up real fast to get in your face as if they didn't plan on it. It's just so pointless. I can't wait to die to get the hell out of here. Oh boy, what it's gonna feel like to be in my own world where nobody is assigned to just pretend that they didn't purposely try to frighten me or try to just, if they can do a sharp move, because I seen the movement. When I smoke, I'm more aware of it. That's why sometimes I prefer when I'm kind of like left alone to smoke, and then just zone out into whoever I'm listening to or communicating with in spirit on YouTube platform, and just basically be left alone. But when there's multiple people, it doesn't matter what job I'm on. It doesn't matter if I go to the gym today and walk into the bathroom and the guy just happens to walk right there in front of you, right around the corner, because that's Satan's greatest thrill, is to trap you, cut in front of you, stop you, that's what it is. He tries to startle you. by doing sharp movements that come right at you. I don't believe that's something that God is approving of. I just believe it's something that he knows is that Satan's gonna do, and at a certain point that ends. Because why would God want his children to be attacked every day? Everywhere you go, you're just attacked. You're the magnet, and they're all fragments. Why? So part of my channel is, alright, I reveal what gang stalking truly is, because I deal with it on a daily basis. Earth is like my footstool because I'm walking around on it. My footstool is where I walk. I'm the eyes and the ears of the devil and God together, because they both watch through my eyes and listen to my ears from the day of birth. But so is everybody else. But what I'm saying is, because my channel is interesting and I do interesting work, I mean, I'll just tell you. You see, Derek Bros could have just been telling me that, and it's like, you say you love me, but your heart is far from me. Because Derek Bros did say that he loves me, but I believe it. I believe he does. And whoever else Derek Bros is throughout the YouTube platform, because here's how people fall in love with you. They see you get attacked by everybody, and it's just you. And then you keep on going, and you keep trudging through, and then you slay this false prophet, and then you slay that false prophet, and then another false prophet comes along, and you slay him, and you slay them, and then you just constantly, non-stop slaying false prophets. Everybody that had come against me and attacked me, you kept getting slain. And I'm still here. So, and then even if I am your physical, personal punching bag, it's just a way of getting that out of your system. I got 40 minutes to get to work. There must be an accident on 95, because right now I should only have 19 minutes. Something is a 20-minute delay. Yep, 18-minute delay coming up. How nice. My patience, I've worked on that. It's like, when I see these things, it's not natural. It's past 9 o'clock. Everybody has a 9 to 5 job, right? So shouldn't you all be at work already? Nope. And then you just wonder, I sure wonder if this is just just Satan loves to just stall people. Yeah, accident, left-hand lane closed. Sure it is. I'd have to be willing to bet my life that these aren't really real accidents, but the police do set up accident scenes. I mean, I understand, to teach their people like how to deal with, to teach their employees how to deal with accidents on 95 during rush hour, just to get them prepared for what if an accident ever really did take place on planet Earth. It just seems like they're all staged, everything's staged, because everybody's listening to something in their ear telling them what to do anyway. So even if they're getting ready to get in an accident, the AI device that's telling you what to do already knows your future life and could tell you to get out of the way if it wanted to. So I would say that this accident isn't really an accident, because I'm driving to work and Satan loves me so much. That's the thing about Satan. He loves me so much, it's like unhealthy. It's like he can't live with or without me. He can't live with me. Satan can't live with me. I already tried that and I had to leave. And then I wound up raising her child. So that didn't work out. But he can't live without me either, because he's obsessed 24/7. Part of my channel is I've discovered the hidden secret world, and the fact that in all likelihood everybody on the planet is controlled by Satan. And I don't even belong here. I don't belong here. Although I'm here, I do belong here. I do belong here because all that's going to change coming up shortly. With or without me. It doesn't matter if I'm here or not. The bombing taking place, the 17th JFK, getting me locked up for that event because I predicted it is that's like a Stephen James Deshawn kind of a call me a rat, snitch, CIA agent that I knew. That's the only way that I knew, because other than that, you're going to have to admit that God, the creator of the universe, showed it to me. And you're all in trouble because of it. Because that's the only other explanation that you can get. Everybody's screwed when that happens. If you're not on my side, you're screwed. I don't care what you think, what position you have, authority in this world. The spirit realm is destroyed as soon as that event takes place, and it's going to happen towards the very end when Satan's time is up. Satan was loose. I released him from the pit. Didn't you see the video? Don't you understand how this is working now? Because I didn't either. But Scripture is fulfilled in a way that's also in a literal manifestation. And I'm showing you these literal manifestations of the videos in the art museum, that if you've been watching for the past year and you're in denial of it and you've watched every video, there's no hope for you until it happens. Then there's hope. Because it's never too late for anybody, ever. Unless you die. Then it's too late. Because then you're going to most likely repeat this process. Your soul, Satan owns it. And when Satan owns your soul, what's he going to do with it? Well, he's going to, let's say this. Let's say you're a firstborn on earth, and then you die. But you're a firstborn female, and then you die. Satan owns your soul, right? Okay. If God owned your soul, would he not take you home? Put you in your eternal, perfect body. You're neither male nor female. You're neither married or given into marriage in heaven. Would he not take you to heaven and put you in your perfect body? Yes, absolutely yes. What's Satan going to do? Well, he's going to bring you back as a man. He's going to take your feminine soul and he's going to trap you with the next baby that's born. It's like, you know how Stephen James's father died according to the script at 11:30 p.m. and I was born at 11:30 p.m. It's like that. It's like a transferring of your soul. Your soul immediately goes into that baby. Whether you know it or not, you probably won't remember. And that's how Satan will get you trapped, because why would he give you your memory back? He'll just put you in a man, in a boy's body, a baby boy from birth. This is my theory, of course. When Satan owns your soul, he takes your female spirit and traps you in a man's body. Then you grow up confused, because it's like, I'm not a man. I don't know why I have this thing dangling down here. I don't want it dangling anymore. Well, there's a I'll tell you what, little Larry, we can invert that thing. We can turn you into a female. All right, but you have to put this earpiece in, and you need to listen to everything I tell you to do, and you better lie about everything. That way I can keep you trapped. When you die again, you're going to repeat again and again and again and again and again, and you're not going to know, and you're just going to keep going and repeating. And that's why it's over for Satan, because that's what he does. If he owns your soul, F you pay me, the moment you die, he's gonna do exactly what I just said he's gonna do. He's gonna confuse you and put you in the wrong body. You think God would do that to you? Absolutely not. God's gonna put you in your correct body. It's an eternal one. And it's perfect, absolutely perfect. There is no alterations. You don't have to change anything while you're on earth in the flesh. So you're busted, Satan. And then you get people to turn into transgender, and then what you do is you hold that against them. Even though they just transformed over to the correct body, because you're the a-hole that trapped them in that body in the first place, because you own their soul. You only own their soul because you're a liar, and you've lied to everybody. And once you lie to everybody, you keep them in that bondage, and then you get them to lie, and then they'll never get saved because they don't know the truth. So what's my channel? I'll sum it up for you in one word: truth. I'm not a truther, but my channel is absolute truth. And those of you that follow me around day in and day in and day out, well, you know that it's the truth. Is this the way that you should go, by following my channel? Well, sure, follow me. I put it on my window. I put Luke 9:23 and I think Matthew 1:15 or Mark 1:15. One of them says, follow me, and the other one says, the kingdom of heaven is at hand, I think it says. Will you receive life following me on this channel, or death? Well, if there's life in this channel, and if this is the way that you go to follow me, and I am the truth, because what I'm speaking is truth, and it pans out to becoming the truth as it's revealed that it's truth, then I guess this is what I'm here for. But the best part about it is I didn't know this from birth. I wasn't prepped. Even though I was prepped by the way I grew up, I wasn't raised, I wasn't brought up. I have no choice but to grow up, because my body is going to grow. I'm going to become an adult. Time's going to go by. I grow up. Being raised is where you have parents that are there for you. They have your best interests in mind. They put you in the best, whatever the world is supposed to be, in the better school district. Just like when your parents get old, they need to go back to school, like to daycare, You try to put them in the best daycare. Let's see. I'm going to see if this was a staged event. Well, yes, of course it was. It's a staged event. They just wanted to practice causing a traffic jam even after 9 to 5 because Robin's going to work and taking this same route. That's why. Am I fooled myself? No, I'm not, because it's more realistic than anything to think that they would do that on purpose just because I'm driving by. I've seen things done like that. It may sound like I'm fooling myself, but I know the truth because most of you watching or listening are hidden CIA secret agent men and women behind the scenes, and you are the ones that set up those gang stalking tactics. I don't really have any topics. I just babble on a lot about things. But a lot of times that I'm babbling on, oh no, I am not going. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Not doing it again. You guys are relentless. It's just never ending with yous. I'll take the other way. Thank you very much. Coming up, the bridge of destruction. Snake oil. Look at that. Yeah, we know. Enjoy your 21-minute delay. I'll go the other way. 9:54 would be what it would take. It's still going to take the same time. It's just I won't be sitting there How many of you live through me? Is that the way some of it is, where there's all types of spirit, there's all souls, but they don't have bodies? So those souls, while they're hanging out, they get put as if you're like me, like you're literally me right now, but you can't control what I do, although you're living through my eyes. Or is there people out there like that? Am I wasting your time? Or is your time eternal? There is no time. It's only down here on earth. So all of this is a waste of time. So what I do is I try to make the best of the time that I'm wasting. So I'll push the record button and I'll talk about all the things I've learned throughout my entire life. Everything is out in the open. It's all public. At one point, I didn't think I could be seen everywhere I go and everything that I do. And I thought, well, all right, well, maybe in the houses, the lights can see me. Maybe so if I'm somewhere where the lights aren't, then nobody can see me. But I've learned that everything I've ever done in my entire life, anything that's embarrassing has been seen already. It's been recorded. It can be played back. And I'm like, yeah, hey, well, what do you want me to do? I thought I wasn't being watched. The devil made me do it. And then I got to the point where, you know what? Let me make sure that I do this thing because I know I'm being watched. Because I just want to make sure that you know that I'm not going to not be myself just because now I know I'm being watched. By who? Who knows? Plenty of people that see things behind the scenes. You have advantage. You watch people do personal things. You're perverted in your mind. You're a sodomite or whatever, and you have the advantage of surveillance. Good for you. I would just want to make sure that the sin I'm committing is a sin that it'll prevent the greater sin throughout the rest of my life. And the greater sin throughout the rest of my life is a self-conscious sin, just like Adam and Eve when they realized they're naked. And God's like, well, who told you you're naked? Who told you that was a problem? Well, the devil did. Oh, I see. The devil told you that was a problem. So now you feel self-conscious because of the devil, and now you're sinning. You're not sinning because you're naked. You're sinning because you're self-conscious that you are naked. That's the greater sin throughout your entire life. So it's like, well, wait a minute. So what you're saying is, if I'm just naked and I don't care that Satan told me I was naked and he gets the middle finger, I'm not gonna sin. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Oh, okay. Well, gotcha. Committing a sin that's already paid for in order to prevent you for a continual sin every day about being self-conscious, about yourself. The sin is allowing Satan to tell you things and then you believe it and act on that. That's the sin. That's the greater sin throughout your entire life. But if you have to commit the sin, and I make the example of watching porn, it's a sin. You're watching something, you're in lustful state, your flesh that Satan owns, that's why he owns that portion of you. But if you're not going to do it because you now know you're being watched, and at any point any YouTube channel can speak about your private actions because they're watching you, well, the greater sin is the fear that you're being watched with whatever it is that you're doing. Doesn't matter if you're committing a sin or not. The greater sin is allowing that fear to overtake you to not do something. So that's why when you commit the sin, it's only to get rid of the greater sin for the rest of your life. You understand? And then you can stop committing that sin because you've already conquered the fear that people are watching you doing private things. It's like a catch-22. It's like a double-edged sword. The problem with the whole world is everybody's up in their head about it seems like everybody's being told what to do, and there's conversations going on in your head. Like real, actual conversations of you being talked to by your commander. And I don't hear that voice. Well, it looks like I'll save 2 minutes by taking this route. And then I'll waste another 12 because, oh, there's another accident that's still happening. Yeah, so it's on 95. It's another accident, of course. I would rather talk for 8 hours a day than to go to work for 8 hours a day. So there's people that I communicate with on the YouTube platform back and forth, and it's almost like praying out loud. Praying is, you have a question, right? Or a concern, or you want to be comforted by something, so you pray to the Father in the name of Jesus, in the name of Christ, the Spirit, His Son. You pray, and then whoever it is that you're trying to communicate with, you get the answers that way. There's a lot of, so I'll listen to Robert Breaker, I'll listen to Paul Tiller, I'll listen to Kim Jean, I'll listen to some Paul Begley, but I'll listen to Steve Ben-Nun do his teachings. It's not like I don't hear what you're saying. Here we go. Mr. Cutoff. Look at him. See that? Straight D-bag move. He did that out of anger just to cut him off and make him feel like he's gonna get sideswiped. Because he's like a terrorist. He's driving around in terrorist mode. But my point is, I know that you're trying to communicate, and a lot of you have questions. Like even Paul Tiller yesterday, the one question about, he's like, I felt like he was asking for my input as to what it means when Christ said, I'm going to go away for a little bit, and in a little bit you're going to see me, and in a little while, or you're not going to see me, and in a little while you will. I feel like he wanted me to explain that. So I look at it as, all right, well, maybe it has something to do with what happens down here. Those Twin Towers beforehand. Maybe there's something that takes place before that. Because everything's tied into today, right now. What's going on right at this moment. Who's representing the Christ Spirit on the YouTube platform? Well, then follow that person. If that person goes away for a little bit, and then you see him again afterwards, then you'll know why that person went away for a little bit, and then you'll know when you see that person again that your sorrow will be turned into joy, because it'll be a joyful thing. Like, woohoo, yippee-yoo. Oh, it's destruction, but hey, yahoo! What? Philadelphia was nuked? Yahoo! Because you know what the ending is after that. Because I don't know if everybody knows that. I don't know if everybody is aware of Satan's plans. I know I am. I'm aware of Satan's plans. He plans on destroying Philadelphia and giving it a little bit of strength. But as soon as he does that, his kingdom is over, and he knows it. He knows it, but all of his people don't. I don't think all of them, not his minions, they don't all know. To the angel of the church of Philadelphia and to the angel of the church of Laodicea. That is a simultaneous, at the same time, talking to both of them. God addresses both of them at the same time because it's happening right now, right at this exact moment. Now, if I didn't have to go and drive to work in order to make a living and then spend 8 hours of just killing time and then driving back home, I guess it's not so bad. If I have an hour to drive, I can talk to the people that want to talk to me for whatever reason. And because you know that there's a spirit inside of me that is able to discern things that are secret. And you also know that I'm unlearned. And when I come out of the art museum and I'm playing the song, then you'll see that there's the pack of cigarettes. Once again. And I can't get away from it because it's right there, and the Windows of Heaven building is open, Comcast. So if I didn't have to go to work every day, I would be able to spend more time. It basically like a Q&A is what I would have. I would have more Q&As. I would have live streams pretty every day, really. I mean, Monday through Friday, I would have live streams. All the people that, like Paul Tiller, he could call in and show his face, and I could talk to him about things, and you don't even have to know why he's calling in. He doesn't even have to say anything as to whatever. Just, I've been watching you on YouTube, and I appreciate your work, and I see that there's an excellent spirit inside of you, and I felt enticed to call in on your show and say hello. I mean, say hi, not hello. And that's how it would start. I would just do it and make it progress into what it will turn out to be. But at that time, that would be after the event took place in Philly. It's going to be after everything I've ever said has come true. And then you're going to know why I'm doing it. You're not going to have to ask that type of a question. But it would be more like getting to know the people that you've talked to, even though you didn't literally talk to anybody. But you just talk to them through spirit. Yep, time to go in another direction. Never-ending cluster, because everybody is awake and are going to a job that they don't want to go to. What am I saying? What am I saying? What's your point, Robin? Get to the point already. Here's my point. You want me to answer more questions? Free up my time. To sum it up, after an hour of babbling on, if you want all of your questions answered, if everybody that I pay attention to, that I display on my channel, has questions, because there's multitudes of you, And I just can't keep up because I have a full-time job, and I'm trying to live too. So what are you supposed to do in life? You go to work, you pay bills, you have a roof over your head, you have food on the table, you have a reliable vehicle to get back and forth to work so you can live under a roof that you can pay for, that you have to pay for, because nothing's free, because we live in Satan's world, and it's all a waste of time. What could I be doing if I didn't have to waste my time? I could be living more for God and doing His work just by talking to His children. That's it. That's all I want to do. I want to talk to God's people. I'm done with Satan's kids. Because you're not going to learn until you finally learn. But the event in Philly has to take place. There's no other way of doing it. There's no other way of doing it. Those Twin Towers, I just can't get away from. You know how many questions I didn't answer because I can't keep up with it? Once I go home, what is it, like 7 o'clock? I try to go to sleep no later than 10. That way I can get at least 7-8 hours of sleep. Because if I don't, I'm going to be tired. It's what happens. You live in the flesh, you get tired. But if I didn't have to get up, and I didn't have to go to work, and my good buddies and friends freed up my life because I've become free, and I don't leave in a body bag, and I do stay here on earth until I die naturally, whatever that is, and the kingdom of heaven does come down to earth because everything is freed up. Now, not everybody is looking forward to that either, because there's people in positions of power. They're perfectly okay with the way things are right now, with me working every single day, wasting my time not being able to get behind a computer to communicate with everybody. They're perfectly okay with that. They don't want anything to change. However, because, once things do change, you lose your power and I gain it. But I'm not going to abuse it, and I'm not going to hold grudges against people that have been that way towards me. It'll just be that much greater. You'll finally have that respect, because you'll have the respect for the Word of God. Point blank. Not everybody does right now, because when I talk about God, those people are like, we already know who our God is. I don't even know what you're talking about. This a God that doesn't exist? Yeah. Okay. We need an actual physical person to call God. Well, you can do that. His name's Lucifer. In the end, he says, F you, pay him. That way he can pay me, because I met him there at the events that will... You thought the first 9/11 was bad? Well, the second 9/11 is the greatest ever, because it changes the spirit of the world from that day on. And that's why at times I don't think Satan's going to follow through with it, because he knows that the moment of explosion, he knows his time is completely up. But then in the Bible, he does know when his time is up, because he is loosed for a little season. And that little season is like a 5-month period of him stinging men like a scorpion sting. So it starts with after my 6th year, 6th month, and 6th day since joining YouTube on April 2nd, 2017 to October 7th, 2023. The bombs dropped on Israel, and it began World War III, wars and rumors of wars. Did I not warn you of that on 10/7/2016, 6 months before I even started YouTube, with 6 pages of saying, many false prophets will rise, they will deceive many. See that you not be troubled, all these things must come to pass. I gave my warning before I even was birthed into the YouTube platform. It's like I'm in the womb of my mother and I'm writing this letter to the world that I'm getting ready to be birthed into. Before I was even birthed into the YouTube platform, I was giving this heads up to anybody that would listen, and that's everybody in surveillance that was watching. And then, considering that was exactly 7 years the bombs were dropped on Israel since I wrote those 6-page letters, and consider it was exactly 6 years and 6 months and 6 days since the time that I started YouTube, is impeccable timing that I can't even make up. That's God's timing. I have nothing to do with it. Some people don't like the fact that I give God all the glory, and it's not your God. It's the God above your God. It's the God of the entire universe, the creation of all, is a spirit communicating with me to tell you that this is what the deal is. Whether you like it or not, doesn't matter. You're going to deal with it. I don't like the way things have been from the beginning since I've been born, but I dealt with it. All he's doing is showing me what's what so I can change it. And it's going to change. So that timing is perfect. The mark of the beast is literally on my forehead. It progressed since I've been on YouTube. Maybe because I'm in front of the computer and it activated, I don't know, whatever they put in my brain from birth. However that happened, the stamp, so it can enhance the 6 and 9, like between the 6th and the 9th hour that I was crucified by Matthew Daly. Again, on my 11th month and first day since I started YouTube, with a 1 minute 11 second video. After 11 years, 11 months, 11 days, Joel Karim uploaded their very first video, me at the zoo. I was crucified by Matthew Daly, who had 111 subscribers on that very day, between the 6th and the 9th hour. And I said I can't hang here for more than 3 hours, rolling into the 3rd hour, and that silenced Matthew Daly for about 11 seconds. The first time within 3 hours that he shut his face because of what I said. Because I was live streaming him and he heard me. And he's like, that just blew my mind right there. I don't even know what to say. And then crickets. That's all God's timing. It's not mine. It just happened to be. So that's going to be after 7 years. Up until 3/23/2024 will be a year since the greatest miracle I've ever done, going up to Mount Carmel, the high mountain. You heard my voice then, didn't you? Boy, did you hear me since that time. Those of you that have ears to hear.